Колеги, вітання. Ми продовжуємо робочий день. До слова запрошується речник адміністрації президента України.
Good afternoon. The floor is given to Colonel Lysenko, and the Speaker of the Presidential Administration, the issues await you. Good afternoon, esteemed colleagues. Yesterday in the ES of Ukraine, we had a complete ceasefire. For the first time ever during this year, we have not recorded a single enemy shelling Ukrainian positions or populated areas, nor did they record any flight of the UAVs of the enemies in the east of Ukraine. So we can talk about the, let's say, the fulfillment of the first item of the Minsk agreements. At the same time, it's very important to preserve the situation further on, because peaceful settlement of the conflict depends much on that. According to the Ukrainian Special Service information, in some of the frontline sections, the enemy carries out a kind of demonstrative withdrawal of heavy weaponry, simulating the implementation of the Minsk agreement. At the same time, they have a lot of troops near the line of contact. The Russian soldiers or the equipment has not been removed from the east of Ukraine. That's why, like before, the Donetsk area we consider to be the most dangerous region. Yesterday morning, the outskirts of the village of Troitsky, Popasnansk district, Lugansk region, our fighters stripped the mine OSM 72. As a result, 2 of our guys were killed and 4 were wounded. Despite let's say the quiet situation in the front line, our special services are active in their duties in Lugansk. In Lugansk area, the SBU detained a lady or a woman, an enemy agent who actually served in the armed services, the armed forces of Ukraine, but at the beginning of the Russian aggression, she defected to the enemy and joined the gang formation of LPR. She was recruited for carrying the spy missions. This woman had to establish contact with a person who had the secret materials about the IETO forces. During her attempt to obtain the secret information, she was detained. Now you can see her confession. I was recruited by one of the guys from. It was the officer of the Russian Federation. Yes. I had to photograph the secret materials then to give that information to him. In the Dnipropetrovsk region, they eliminated another channel of communication between the militants and the Russian supervisors. The SBU of Ukraine, SBU actually eliminated the uncontrolled international communication channel and blocked the legal operation of the software and hardware communication complex operating in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The criminals using the IP telephony bypassing the international center of commutation or exchange. They received the international telephone traffic coming from Russia. Then they processed this with the special equipment and disguised under the local telephone communication. The information was directed to the Ukrainian operators of mobile communication services. The equipment has been seized. In the northern and western part of the Black Sea, they continue the Ukraine-American exercise Sea Breeze 2015. Yes, the tactical groups of the member countries actually were trained in planning and conducting the international naval operations according to the NATO standards. We are talking about all types of defense in the open sea. Then they find the surface picture, the submarine search, to provide the amphibious assault. In this exercise was a special unit of the attendees of the military academy of the city of Odessa, which took care of the reconnaissance operation using the high-speed boat, and they found and mopped up the personnel of the imaginary enemy and the ammunition stores. Aviation actually also they continue the exercise of maneuvers of Ukrainian artillery terrorists in the south of Donetsk region. They are trained how to deploy within a very short period of time. The accuracy also at the top level, accuracy of shooting, despite the fact that most of those guys have been mobilized, they already become professional soldiers. Ukrainian guards also trained extensively to take care of the combat missions in the special training center of the National Guards. There are the non-incessant training for the PSC crews. They already know how to drive BTR 4 year, the armed vehicle. They know how to drive this vehicle at any hour of the day and night using the night vision equipment on different conditions, countryside, whatever. They were also trained how to shoot, to use all the kind of the shooting equipment of the armored vehicles, both stations in the fixed situation and on the go. At the training grounds near Lviv, they had a 3-day training for the grenade launchers of National Guards of Ukraine. They were trained how to put to send the different signals and how to shoot the grenade launchers. Taking part in those trainings were both experienced guys and the freshmen. And Khmelnytsk region at the rocket weapons and the ammunition storage, they were trained how to extinguish the fire with the participation of the special territorial units of the public committee for emergency situation. They prevented the expansion of the fire to the neighboring sites. They used about 100 servicemen and their rescue experts and 15 special automobile engineering equipment. In National Academy of the Emergency Situation Committee named after Bogdan Khmelnytsky, they presented the new achievements of Ukrainian military equipment. Among those, the armored vehicles, which already proved their efficiency in combat activities in the ATO zone. The students actually tested the passenger capacity of those vehicles, and they were acquainted with their technical capabilities. At present, there were 13 military reconnaissance officers who were distinguished in the Donbass area combat operations. The order of Bogdan Khmelnytsky Class 2 were awarded to the captain of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and the Class 3 ordered to 4 military servicemen, and orders for encourage of Class 3 to 8 servicemen. Thank you.
Fifth TV channel, could you please describe what numbers of Russian servicemen are staying in the occupied territories. The data which we receive on regular basis allow us to assume that there might be around 30,000 Russian servicemen in the occupied territory and around 10,000 mercenaries and local residents who are armed. What is the humanitarian situation in the occupied territories? Some people mentioned that there are rather high food prices, etc. I should state that in the occupied territory, the hryvnia circulation is slowed down. Then in these territories they have multi-currency in circulation. They use Ukrainian hryvnia, Russian rubles, and dollars. Since the militants do not allow Ukrainian government to organize humanitarian aid supplies to these territories, local population suffer from insufficient foodstuff supplies. Also, people require more warm clothes, and this creates risks for local population who are limited in their buying capacity. Also, the next risk is related to the appearance in the occupied territory of fake money, fake currencies, including Ukrainian hryvnias, Russian rubles, etc. They all are fake. That's why currently our bodyguards at the delineation line, they trace back very carefully the currencies. Could you please make any assumption why this quiet situation has been established? Maybe this is the quietness before the storm. In line with the Minsk agreements, after 2 weeks of total ceasefire and quiet regime, the withdrawal of heavy weaponry should happen. Ukrainian party comply very carefully with the Minsk agreements. We do not open fire only in response to the fire opened by our enemies. We have withdrawn the heavy machinery. We continuously hold negotiations on exchange of the war prisoners, and we continuously support the small arms withdrawal. Then we would insist on the withdrawal of the occupational troops from Donbass, on full restoration of control over the border, and upon this Ukrainian government will revive control over Donbass territory and begin the revival of infrastructure there. That's why I believe that currently we observe the first calm period for the last 18 months, and I believe this happened due to continuous effort of the president and his team, president of Ukraine and his team, who consistently have been implementing the peaceful plan. I believe this is the victory of our leadership, the victory of Ukrainian people, the victory of our allies who support us in our peaceful plan. No further questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Kennel. And the last, but maybe